Hi there, and welcome back to TheLibrarianWay.com. I am Julia from my new blog, Stylish in the Stacks.
And I am Emily from TheKnowingLibrarian.com. Last week we talked about social media and all the ins and outs of working with different social media accounts. So this week we decided we're going to tackle Banned Books Week because it is this month. Starts on September 22nd and it runs for the whole week, just promoting those books that have been censored in the past. So that is what all of our questions in our bowl are all about. So why don't we go ahead and pull the first one?
Okay. So our first question is, why Banned Books Week? What should you try to promote through this week?
Banned books.
I think Banned Books Week has like a negative connotation to it, and I think you have to remember that you're celebrating something. You're celebrating intellectual freedom, and that's what you're trying to promote. It's not, trying to put anyone down or spread negativity.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to educate your community because they might not know that some of the books that they love have been critiqued in a negative way in different communities. So it's kind of just bringing attention to literature in general, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there are so many fun things that you can do with it, which is exciting. So yeah, I think you're right. I think if you keep that positive spin, it lets kids know that, hey, you have the freedom to read whatever you want, which gets fun in the public library community.
Yeah.
So.
And teens love Banned Books Week because they love to do something rebellious.
They think it's naughty.
I'm gonna read that one. Okay.
How to handle a book that is challenged, and I think that comes along with the week itself, is kind of looking over our policies on books that are challenged. What do you do here at
if we have a book that's challenged, we immediately get a committee together, and it has a student on it, and I'm on it, we have teachers on it, an administrator, usually a counselor. Everyone reads the book, and then we come together and talk about whether or not we feel like the challenge is appropriate. And we always have whoever is challenging the book to fill out a form explaining why they think it shouldn't be in the library, because sometimes people just complain about things and then won't take the time to fill out a form. And so if they're not going to take the time, then I'm not going to worry about it either. So
we have a form too, and a lot of times at the back of the form it has the opportunity for them to put their name and contact information, and most people leave that off. They don't necessarily really want to challenge it and cause a fight. They just want you to know that they didn't like it. So I always, I try to read the book. I let my administration know that, hey, we've gotten this challenge form. And I'm always hopeful that it's the person giving it to me and it doesn't end up in my mailbox, because then I can have that conversation with them. This is how we choose our books, that we make sure we're reading review sources. This is where we decided this is the publication that we use to pick this book. So they know that we don't just have no idea what is on our shelves. But we also have a sign up in my library that lets them know that it's the parents' job to censor their kids. It's not our job, so that we put materials in there, and we aren't necessarily promoting a particular topic or idea, but they're there, and it's their job to decide whether it's appropriate for their child or not. And that has helped. It's not always the case that that's all it needs. But it has helped a lot, just to let them know that, we support intellectual freedom, and we support a child's right or a teen's right to pick out the books that they want, and it's their choice whether or not they want their teen to read them. And it's been cool because we've had a lot of parents say, I decided to read it. And it's like, just to have them reading teen fiction is awesome. So it's like, well, good for you, and if you have questions about why we selected a particular title, come and talk to me.
Yeah, because we want to encourage conversation. If someone does have an issue with the book, we don't want them to keep it quiet. We do want to know about it and talk to them about it. So.
And it helps us too, because you can't read every book in your library. So if a parent does come up with concerns, then you know, as you're doing reader's advisory with other teens, that maybe this isn't the right book for a particular teen, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I make it available, but I want read this, and then knowing that a parent would have a problem with it. So. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. What are your selection policies for purchasing books? Do you ever avoid certain books?
Julie and I were talking about this a little bit before we turned the video camera on. This idea of self-censorship, and it's hard because just because you don't have a particular title on the shelf, people kind of think, well, you're censoring. You don't have that. I have a limited budget. There's a good chance it's not on the shelf because it's not going to go off the shelf in my community. So I have a hard time with people commenting on that when it's why purchase a book if it's not right for my community? If it's going to sit on the shelf and gather dust, I'd rather buy a second copy of a book that I know is super popular and I can't keep on the shelf than purchase stuff that might not necessarily go out.
Right.
Someone asks for it, then I purchase it. But I don't consider that censorship.
Right.
I consider it savvy budget.
Right, yeah. Well, and you're just considering your audience too. Like, I just had a student say a couple days ago, like, there's just not enough adult books in your library. And he's right, because I'm a school library and he's the only student that's asked me in about 60 years for more adult books. My students prefer young adult books. And so I'm not trying to censor them from reading adult books. I'm just purchasing what I know the students are going to read. And I know too that if he really wants to read an adult book, he can go to Emily's library and find it there. So, you know, different libraries serve different purposes. And so if I know that something's not going to fly off the shelf here, then I'm going to know that it's available somewhere else, and I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. So.
And she has come to me before and said, okay, I'm not going to purchase this one. Are you going to get it? That way it is still available in our community. And we're making it available to the teens if they want it. So we do work together a lot of times because we do both have limited budgets as well. Like, I know she's got several copies of that series. I don't have to buy as many because I know it's available somewhere else in the community.
And if you do have a more conservative community, then you're probably going to buy more conservative type books. And again, you're not trying to censor anyone from reading maybe, you know, a more controversial book, but you just know that it's not going to be appropriate. Like, I'm never going to buy 50 Shades of Grey for my school library. Like, it's going to create a whole other, you know, problem. So I'm not trying to censor students. If they choose to read it on their own, they can. But it's just not going to be part of my collection. So
And they can come to the public
that's
library.
right, they can.
And I can have the awkwardness of giving 50 Shades of Grey to a
Which
teenager.
I had a book on hold at the library once, the public library, and when I went to pick it up, they brought me out 50 Shades of Grey, and it was a different person with the same last name as me, and I thought maybe like there was a hidden camera on me, like the news was doing an episode of like, what do you do if someone thinks you want to read 50 Shades of Grey? I was like, I didn't ask for that one. Yeah.
All right, and what are some display ideas for Banned Books Week?
Let's see. I saw at a conference one time, someone had like a tree set up with like different black balls hanging off of it, and it said like books that have been blackballed, which I thought was kind of clever.
We had a librarian create a jail cell, so that was a lot of fun, and they could open it up. It was a display that they could take the books from, so that was a lot of fun, because a lot of the books they didn't realize had been banned, or they're like, why is this banned? I mean, it started a lot of fun conversations. It's like, oh, I read and loved that one. I was like, oh, you're naughty.
Well, and then when you like find out why they were banned, sometimes it's funny to see the reason, you know, more so than even the book title. We've done like police tape across some books. We've done like an eye doctor sign that has like the big E on the top that spells something out, something about intellectual freedom or reading, or you have the freedom to read, I think.
We've seen some libraries do cool things where they cover the book so you can't see the cover. And I think that's awesome, because I admit it, I judge books by the cover. So, I mean, it takes that away. So you're kind of, you know, without knowing the title or what necessarily it's about, you're judging the book on its literary content and quality instead of because it was banned or not. So
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Are you guys doing anything cool with Banned Books Week? We'd love to hear it. Make sure you leave your comments below.
That's right. You have a couple weeks to prepare, so get with it. Okay.
And
We've been
now we have a
very
fun
serious.
one.
Let's do a fun one. Been very serious here. Okay. Here we go. What is one thing you miss from college?
Everything.
Yeah,
I loved
know,
college.
I know.
It's hard to believe I've been out as long as I have. I miss having my friends across the hall whenever I want them. Not that it's not great to see us all grow up and get married and have kids, but it'd be nice to have those just goofy nights when they're right across the hall. I miss that a lot. What do you miss?
I think because I have two little kiddos at home and I'm like totally sleep deprived right now, I think I miss like just getting to sleep whenever I want and sleep in if I need to. I think I just miss some of those freedoms. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my children, but I think I just miss like not having to be attached constantly. Like it really was about me dreaming what I wanted to do in the future and not like being restricted in any way, I guess. It's totally about sleep right now, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dragging.
I miss learning every day too.
Yeah.
I loved college. I loved, going in and getting different assignments that really kind of pushed the way I thought about things, and
Yeah.
so I miss that as well. I have dreams of going back.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to happen if I'm still paying off student
Yeah,
loans.
yeah. I have nightmares that I didn't take a class and then I had to take the final or
Yes,
whatever.
I
Oh,
do too.
that's the worst.
I still have dreams I'm in high school and I can't
Oh
open my high
gosh.
school locker.
Oh gosh.
It's awful, and I worry about it all night when I wake up. I'm like, I don't know my locker combination, but I never forgot it in the first place.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, thanks for joining us again for another Q&A The Librarian Way. Again, make sure you leave your comments below. Check us out at TheLibrarianWay.com. We're going to be talking about banned books all week, so it'll be a lot of fun. And as always, we would love to hear what you're doing in your libraries. Let's start the conversation.
Bye.
Bye.
We were kind of serious today.
Lots of serious stuff. What's next time?
Next time, don't tell me because I just looked at it.
I have no idea.
Next week is